BLASTMUSIC247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Getting that dance on. Hello, beautiful humans. Welcome to SXP, which is Sanctuary Experience, Metamorphosis 365. This is your growth podcast, and I am Melikia K, Courtney. So, out the gate, there's two things that's going to occur, and one I won't even tell you about, but the other one is, how about gratitude? Kind of where we always start. Thank you to BLASTMUSIC247 for being absolutely amazing. A wonderful place to have a podcast home. And to the VP Veep, who is just a joy and a delight to my heart, Choice. Thank you so much for being amazing and being the guy in the chair, because I've learned how to push many, many buttons on my own, y'all, but I still don't know them all. So I'm very grateful for Choice. And just to be here, thank you to Sunshine of Shine Vibrations, who has her show on Thursday at 7 p.m., y'all. You need to be plugging into Blast. Like, there's a lot of wonderful things happening here. And today I figured I would also share just a little bit of this, so you guys can see what else is going on with Blast, just so we can all know. Let's see. I know I put it here. Like I told y'all, I wasn't kidding. I know where some of the buttons are, not all of them. Let's try that. All right. So by day, you're looking at the podcast lineup. On Mondays, you have The Ranch. You want to plug into that. And then also Rise, the Rep and Talk. Then on Tuesdays, yours truly, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then now 9 p.m. for the Power Ups, Rise to Influence, and Crazy Carla Concoctions. I believe it was on Wednesday. And then here we go, our Thursdays, The Center, Shine Vibrations, and then Blaster. And then on Sundays, you've got Louisiana Lyricist Lounge. So definitely hit the replay, see all of what's available here on Blast for you, because it's a wonderful place to be. I'm going to get these bills out of the way early too. So how about when it comes to BLASTMUSIC247.com? I don't know if you know it, but if you don't, go to BLASTMUSIC247.com, because you want to register. You want to become a member. What does that do for you? It puts you in position to listen to a whole lot of amazing music from the talented artists that come to be a part of Blast Music 247. All right. And then if you are a talented artist and you'd like for your music, your audio excellence and imagery to be shown on a podcast just like mine, please do go to the same blastmusic247.com and register, and then add your music for us to share and help you get that exposure that you're looking for. So I'm getting better and better at sharing that information. And I don't have any music for you today, so it's going to be me.com unless music magically pops up, which I doubt. All right, so as promised, tonight, I got to tell y'all what I did. So what happened was I was ready to come to you guys and talk to you about next week's podcast. You do not want to miss next week's podcast, because I am giving out a kick-ass blueprint on how to tackle the first 90 days of your 2025 so that you have a successful 2025, so that you're not sitting at the end of the year, because like where we are right now, 2024, having said to yourself in January of 2024 that you want to do something that you didn't do. We're not going to have that for 2025. And the way that we make sure we don't have that for 2025, well, dear, plan and action. Thanks so much, Scott. I appreciate you. And hello, let me pop that. Hey, partner, what's going on? It is my co-founder of Partners in Rhyme, Lyricals Vibes, where the shenanigans really happen. Over poetry, performances, audio, no video, lucky you, For those who are looking to hide, over on Clubhouse, if you guys have not participated in a Partners in Rhyme Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, one, you done missed out on a whole lot of love, and then two, some dope vibes, incredible tribe, and awesome poetry, spoken word and poems. So you might want to. And then I want to show that one too. You hear me well? That's awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, so y'all, let's get into today's. So yes, I'm excited about next week's, and since that's the 24th, it really is the eve, Christmas Eve. I might record it and just have it played for y'all. So I'm not certain if I'm going to be here live or not, but the message will be here whether I am live or not. Okay, great. So tonight, though, we're going to stay on course because the course called for how to write your book in 3 days without using AI. Now, it may come across that I'm shooting at some people who are using AIs to write their books. I'm okay with that. Because what I'm finding is a lot of folks who are writing the books with AI, they do not have their message. Like, they are not laced in that message. It's a very data scraped message, and it doesn't hold the vibration of their heart, their passion, their desire. It literally comes across like words to get the point, like to get it done. Let me say it like that, to get it done, mail it in, sort of. For those who choose to do like that, okay, knock yourself out. You know, it benefits some people. It benefits some of our 6, 7, and 8 figure earners because they've chosen to write their books that way with AI. And AI is wonderful. It's a great tool for organizing. It's a great tool for research somewhat, and then ideas that are already expressed. Let's make that clear. Ideas that are already expressed that can be accessed by AI. That's what you're getting when you're using AI to write your books. You're taking handfuls and nails full of other people's ideas and drawing them together and calling it your own. Nah. Let's not do that, okay? Let's not do that. Let's do this instead. If you have a heart to write a book and you've been saying to yourself, I want to write a book, and it's been the conversation you've been having for God knows how long. Some folks a year, a couple of days, few months. For some folk, 30 plus more years, and still haven't done it. And the reason people don't do things, it kind of comes across in like 1 or 2 or 3 buckets. One, they don't know how, and that's fair. If you do not know how, and you are overwhelmed and fully distracted in life, and you don't have time to go figure out the hows, I could see that being one bucket. And then there's another bucket. In that bucket, you got the folks who are intimidated by the process. They're intimidated. They know what they can do, maybe not 100% of all of it, but they have a good idea on how to write this book. But they are intimidated by the process, and they need someone to kind of hold their hand a little bit and keep them company on the journey so that it gets done. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in company. There's no shame in the journey and having help along that journey. There's no shame in that. All right. And then your third bucket, in that bucket, you're going to find your starty stoppers. Get a little bit done, stop because they're distracted by life or excuses or whatever else comes up, and it's just not getting done. And then that's when the years start piling on. Next thing you know, it still is not done, and you have created a habit of lying to yourself. And I don't know how you folks feel about liars. I'm not a fan. So think about that. If you've sat and you've told yourself you're going to do something, I'm going to do it, and then you don't do it, did you know that that quiet conversation in the back of your head is calling you out on your mess? It is calling you out, possibly quietly, not rudely, but it is truly saying to you, like, listen, you said you were going to XYZ and you still ain't done it. All right. So let's remove that silent accuser and let's help you to walk in integrity to yourself. And you present way stronger, okay, to yourself and to your community, whether that's family, friends, work, All right, let's get to it. So whichever bucket you find yourself in, feel free to drop in the chat. Feel free to email it to me. Life is Sanctuary XP Yep, literally. Life is sanctuary, the letter X, the letter P at gmail.com. Okay, great. All right. So there's a whole bunch. This is a wide topic, and I did my best to kind of put my thoughts together and guide you. Now, yes, we're going to come into a point where I'm going to hit you with a do this, do this, do this, do this. But at first, like with everything, mindset matters. Like your mindset matters. If you have not figured out how to be with your thoughts, how to be in that conversation, to be honest, like you really got to figure out how to be in that conversation, because you're moving in through what do you want to write. Like I could write a book. Okay, well, what do you want your book to be about? Can you give that in 2 sentences? Can you tell me what it is you want to write your book about in about 2 sentences? Because if you've got like a whole convoluted explanation and I got to sit through 5 minutes explanation, then you are bugging. You're bugging. Calm down. Okay. Sit and think that through, because you want to write your book about something. Now, yeah, that 5 minutes of conversation is probably going to belong inside your book, but what is your book about? All right. What is your book about? Is it that you want to tell your own personal story? All right. A lot of folks tell their own personal story, and it is beautiful. That's a beautiful way to go. I will ask the question, and I will caution. Some folks don't have interest in people's stories. All right. Some readers have interests in what's going to help them move forward. So why do you want to write a book? Like, what's your purpose? What's your mission behind it? Is it that you simply want to get your story out? Is it that you want to guide and lead the masses? Is it that you've got a women's group or a men's group and you're really writing the book for them, but you think that others might benefit? So there's different points of focus and intention and gratification, and there's different processes to follow depending upon what you intend to write about. Because before you get to sitting down in the action of grabbing your pen and writing, which some folks do, and once you've matured with your pen, you very well may just sit down and begin to write a pen. That's a beautiful. And that a pen comes from Miss Kim, who is treating you sweet. Beautiful poet, and that's how she ends one of her poems, a pen. I think it's wonderful. So again, you may be at that level where you can sit down and begin to write, but if you are writing a book, I'm going to encourage you to have mercy on the reader, and let's have some order and structure in that book. And that begins with order in your mind. It begins with putting order in your mind, love. Okay, so why do you want to write the book? And yep, I'm looking at my notes as I keep notes so we stay on task. Is it the vanity of fame? Now, some people want to write their book because they just want to be famous. Like they want to be known, they want to be seen, they want to be heard. Ain't nothing wrong with that either. Knock yourself out, but be honest why you're writing your book, because there's going to be, once you're done writing your book, hopefully it's not just to be written. I'm hoping that you want to publish and market and share it and do something amazing with it, right? So these are the things to have in mind. You are truly in a process once you sit your tushy in a chair with a pen and paper or with a clicky and begin your book, or even with your audio, like you speak in your book and having it transcribed. Beware those transcribed things too. Make sure you read through every word. They're fun and they're funny, and they don't do a great job every time. 60-70%, but not so much. Okay, great. Who are your listeners? We talked about that a little bit. And are you honestly writing to yourself? Now, this is a heavy point that I'll make. Some folks are really hoping to write it out. They want to write it out of their mind. They want to write it out of their body. Right? For them, it's almost like a form of therapy. And that works too. Okay? But be honest, because if you're writing it out for yourself, you may be willing to tell truths as graphic as you choose to. Whereas if you're writing it to share it with an audience, you might not want them with all of those details. So think. This is literally, I'm just tinkering around in your thought box right now. Mind. Think. All right. Are you attempting to set records? Oh, yeah. Okay. Are you attempting to set records straight? I added that one because some folks want the validation of telling their truth, telling their version of a story, telling it how they perceived it occurred or happened. Again, nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to encourage you to check your motivation. Check your motivation. And I'm not going to harp on that, but this is just a quick hello. Think about what you're doing, about why you're doing it. All right. Okay. So let's see. Oh, yes. And this is very, 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 very important. Long time ago when I was doing my speaker training, I am a public speaker. It was very important. I had wonderful teachers, and they generally and consistently said this one sentence that I could find dang near in all of the places that I studied and was trained under. Master training, public speaking, keynoting, the whole nine of it. My key teachers had this to say: if you're going to tell a story, you make a point. If you're going to make a point, you tell a story. So that to me kind of coupled with the thought of having a passionate prevailing message. All right. Do you have a message for your book? What are you trying to say? What is the message that your reader is going to walk away with? Or what is the feeling that your reader is going to walk away with? What do you want them to have while they are hearing you through your book? All right. Do you have a set of skills that you're going to use to instruct your listeners to use? Like, these are all wonderful things to kind of sit with in mind as you move forward. Now, while you're thinking through those things, and I pointed out a lot of that to kind of push your mind into, like I said, I'm in your thought box. I want you to climb in your own thought box and look at your motives and look at your intentions. If you are out for slander and verbal slaughter of people, I encourage you not to do that, especially anything with my name near it. I encourage you to do better, to be better. All right. Be better. Be conscious and consider putting out a work that will reflect you and represent you, even when you're nowhere in the room, right? Your best light. And that covers even when you have traumatic and strong things to share. You can still offer your best light in your writing. Okay. So we had to harp on that a little bit first so we can get to this. Do you know who you are? Who you are innately? What does your personality say about you? Or how are you doing things? I love the alternate of the Myers-Briggs. I love the alternate pieces that don't get so much focus. Like, you get all the and we'll run through that. We'll do that quickly. The melancholic, your steady supportive humans, very earthy people. Your phlegmatic, conscientious and cautious people. And then they're kind of like water. They're kind of your watery people, your fluid folk. Your sanguine, the influencers, the inspiration folks, and they're like your air. They breathe air into dang near every situation they come into, right? And then you have your choleric. So you're your dominance and your direct people who don't kind of like give a rat's crack. Your typey folks, all right, they come across like fire, like they burning the world down real quick, and they don't care who gets singed, and they keep on. But they're loving people, and they have messages, strong messages often. However, think of who you are. Where do you fit? Do you feel like you're more earthy? Do you feel like you're more water? Do you feel like you're more air? Do you feel like you're more fire? I like the elements, y'all. So think of who you are as a human, and then how you express. Because I will say, my type A folks and my fire people and my rubies, for those who speak that language, y'all, we get to the point. We get to the point. However, when you're trying to express a point and tell a story, those details that you would ordinarily leave out, they are necessary. They are necessary. And then for my other folks who come across like water and earth, so vast, so rich, so full, so full of details, my emeraldy people, okay, we'll say it that way. Y'all and us, because I'd be guilty of it too, have 1,300 details. 1,300 details. 1,300 details don't belong in every story. It really just don't. Do not overwhelm water. Do not overwhelm earth and bury your people in details. Tell your story, but be mindful. Right now, for the folks who are writing them tomes, Okay, go on, get it out. If you get into your Harry Potter in the water, go on, give every last bit of them details. Do it. But if you're not writing a fiction novel for entertainment and enjoyment and whisking people into other worlds, you are more writing an entrepreneur's like an entrepreneur's guide to XYZ, whatever it is. You might not want to overwhelm them people with all those type of fiction level details. You want to hit your non-fiction mindset box, okay? Play in that mind box a little bit. Be mindful, because all of this goes into creating a book. If you want to do it responsibly, if you want to make a children's book and you want to get your graphics and get your illustrator and call it a life, that's a whole different program. Be my guest. I love it. And you still have to plan it out. You still have to be responsible for what you're sharing with the children. Okay. The images you want to include in your illustrations, the story that you want your images to tell, and the story that you are physically telling with words, because both apply. Right. Okay. So my favorites. Realistic, the doer, realistic. Doers. My doers are some real fun people, because they do. My caution is how you do it. All right. You want to be in motion. You want to have structure. You want to have a plan. You want to, i.e., grab your schedule and get it in your calendar so it truly does exist. All these things are necessary. And at the same time, the doers be doing. And sometimes they don't stop to think. They don't stop to investigate. They don't stop to make sure and research that the things that they are sharing are absolutely 100% fact checked. Okay. And then even sometimes they don't take time to sit in another chair of perspective. This is how I saw it. This is how it occurred to me. This is what I believe it is. All right. But am I able to sit in another chair and offer an additional perspective? Have I talked to anyone else about it? Possibly. Do we agree on what we saw? Do we agree on what we experienced? Or is this literally just my view? Okay, because that can be communicated. This is how I see it. You don't gotta agree. You won't agree on everything with everybody, and that's fine. But at least be mature enough to understand that your perspective is not the only perspective, and write accordingly. All right. The social folks are my helper people. They want to save the world. They want to express in their books the difference that it makes to love and to help and to, oh man, my caution for my helper people and my social folks is to really sit in the process. They're the ones who love help as well. They love getting help with their process, writing the books, and that's beautiful. And at the same time, be mindful of who you hire to help you through your journey. Make sure you're hiring well, someone who is on the doer's end of realistic life, right? And that they're patient enough to walk with you and hold your hands through the journey and guide you through your post-writing journey, i.e. the publishing, or let's start back to the editing, your editing process. Your publishing process, your marketing process is okay. So that being that, you have your enterprising, your persuaders, you have your organizers. And my heart for you by mentioning all of these is for you to take on the identity of each. Be the doer, be realistic, be the thinker, investigate, be the artist, create, put some joy. I don't even know if I talked about that. Put some joy and some passion into your work. Breathe life into it. If you're a praying person, pray over your work. If you meditate through the work. You know what I mean? Clear. If you're one of us who transmute and heal and put wonderful things into books, go ahead and get that in there too. You know, all books are not just the ink on the page, just so we're clear. There's much communicated with an offering in a book. So be mindful of that when you select your next book. All right. So be the creator, artistic, be the helper, because you're writing that book either to help yourself or to help others or both. Be the helper. All right. Be the persuader. When you're telling your stories, are you trying to convince somebody of something? You know, do you want them to see it your way? You want to be believed and held in a particular light? Awesome. All right. Tap into that energy, that personality. And the organizer, I beg you, be the organizer, because that person, that personality is going to save you and help you get it done. All right. So we talked about that wonderful part, and now we're going to get to the good part. I just had to get your mind ready first, because isn't that the way of life? Like, honestly, folks want to skip past the theory and get right to the practicum. It don't work that way. You gotta get your mind right. Get in your mind box, your thought box, and tinker around and see what's in there. And if you do not have all of the materials you want to add, get ready. All right. Okay. So, planning and outlining. You want to define your purpose. What is the purpose and the goal of this book? Purpose, goal. Can't have one without the other. What is the purpose of writing this book? Or if you can't honestly sit down and answer that, then what are you writing it for? What is the purpose? What is the goal? Y'all, it does not have to be long and drawn out. It doesn't have to be the thinking man statue. It doesn't have to be astronomically figured. It doesn't. It simply has to be answered. And you get to answer it. Define it for yourself. What is the purpose? What is your goal? Having those in place is going to guide you. It would help you to shake off the excuses and get it done, for one. And then two, you have that peace in your mind. It's already decided. You have decided that this is the purpose and this is the goal. You're not languishing through the choices. I'm going to write this. I'm going to write that. It's going to be fiction or nonfiction. Make a choice. All right. And after you make the choice, make the decision. And once you've made the decision, and go ahead and look it up. If you're not understanding the conversation I'm having with you, choices and decision, two different things. Once you've made your decision, commit. That's literally what's happening when you make that decision, and there's a commitment involved. And then having that purpose and that goal in place is going to help you to complete. It's going to help you get it done. All right. And again, what does that do? It helps to build your belief in yourself. For those people who have the imposter issues, or for the people who have low self-esteem, or who feel unaccomplished, or some folks who said they were going to do something that God done told them to do, and they got this nagging something behind them that's irritating them, and they're wondering why my next is not opening. They're wondering why whatever issue is in the way. Well, chances are something as simple as being out of integrity with yourself, that could be in the way. All right. Something as simple as that. So get integrity, get aligned with the integrity in yourself. Be honest with yourself and do what you said you're going to do. All right. And this is to those people who said, I'm going to write a book and I did it. Or those people who said, I'm going to do anything and really haven't done it, haven't put the effort forward to get it done. With a smile. All right. Let's see. So what message or story do you want to convey? Very important. You want to set a clear word count. The clear word count for your book, how many words you want your book to be? 25,000, 30,000 words. Those are reasonable. Those are reasonable numbers for a 3-day book, because the goal here is to write it in 3 days. And I can talk mess because I did it. I ain't did it once. I did it a couple of times. How about that? So, and it truly is fun for me. It's pure passion and joy, especially when it's a message I want to give. My most recent book I finished is something for my sisters, and I can't wait to share that one. The other one that I did in 3 days was I'm telling poems and stories to help ease the lonely mind. So it can be done, and it can be done without AI. We be on dyslexia. It can be done without using AI. And for those who use AI, like I said, go ahead and knock yourself out. But if you'd like to offer work that is divinely inspired, that holds your essence and your energy, that it truly is in your vocal cadence, and when someone meets you and start talking to you about your book, when you have a conversation with them, you sound like the person who wrote the book as opposed to the robot. I'm just saying, those are options. Okay, great. All right, for fiction or nonfiction, we're starting with nonfiction. Choose structure. Nonfiction, you want to break it into chapters. All right, you want to break it into chapters. You got introduction, you got your core points. You nonfictioners, core points. It's going to help you stay focused. It's going to help you move along, and it's going to help you move the reader through your journey successfully, because there's no point in getting your people lost. Don't do that to people. It's not nice. So introduction, core points, conclusion. Be sure to wrap it up. You want to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's so simple. We learned that when we were in grammar school. Learned it at home, pre-grammar school. Beginning, middle, end. What happened? Okay, what happened first? Then what happened next? Where were you? How did you participate in it? Because in my house, we could not run around title telling, and I didn't allow my kids to run title and telling either. What did you do? All right. So in the same sense, what story are you telling? All right. For fiction, you want to look at your plot. You want to look at your characters, and then there must be a resolution. I was giggling. I can't remember what book this is, but it was literally just this week I had a conversation, and someone was complaining to me about some questions that were not answered. Okay? Don't do that to people. Don't do that to people. Give some resolution and keep folks interested and engaged. You want to create a detailed outline. What does that mean? It means that you're going to write bullet points for each chapter. For each chapter, you're going to have your bullet points or chapters or sections, but I prefer chapters, so that's how I'm going to tell it to you, right? So for each chapter, you're going to be writing your bullet points. You want to include your key ideas. What's most important about this thing that happened right here? Key ideas. Oh, the scenery. Let me tell you where I was and what it looked like and what I smelled and what I heard and what was said and what I did, things like this. So when you're telling these beautiful stories, and this is in fiction, your job is to take the reader out of their norm. So let's give you some contrast here. As founder of Sanctuary Experience, I get to do a number of wonderful things through my company, right? One of those wonderful things is a 3-day experience for the women. Now we nab them off to beautiful places in Florida to get them into warm weather and near some good water and remove them from the known. Like we want to remove them from their known daily elements. That is one of the key elements of SXP, 3-day for the women. We must remove them from their known elements. Why? Because they need to be able to disconnect so we can do some reprogramming. Behavioral health modifications is my background, law enforcement too. So I get it. I understand that you can be locked into life and it's hard to get shook from that. It takes work. So think about it this way. For you fiction writers, your job as a fiction writer is to take your readers someplace. You want to unlock them from the elements of their normal life and give them the pure pleasure of reading something else, going into an alternate world and experiencing the journey. Elio Miel is my fiction, and I love it. It's absolutely fun writing this, and I've shared it with a couple of folks. It's not complete, and what I've gotten back consistently is I can feel the characters. I can see the scenes. That's important. That's important to hear as a writer, as a fiction writer. And I write both fiction and nonfiction. So it's very important to me to hear that from my readers. And it's important to know your readers, but we already talked about that. So we're going to keep on going because there's a lot to share. All right. I saw my 316. Love you, Pa. Okay. So this is what saved my tush too. Okay. So you want to write bullet points for each chapter. You want to include those key ideas, scenes, and the points that will guide you along the story. If you had an agreement or a disagreement, you want to detail that well. Okay. And what was the side that you argued on? What was the opposing side about? Give me some tea. The same way we pull up for tea in real life, take it to the page. Take it to the page. Okay. Time blocks. Y'all, this is number 4 for my people who are paying attention and taking notes. This is number 4. Set your time blocks. If it doesn't exist on your calendar, please don't tell me it exists, because it doesn't. It does not. No, it don't. Put it on your calendar. Block out time to write. Now, if you're on the adventure and you taking this 3-day journey, I'm gonna get it done in 3 days, then you block out the time that you need to get it done in 3 days. Learn how fast you're able to write. And here's this is a side note, but it may be in here later too. But here's the truth. As an author, a spoken word artist, an editor, and ghostwriter, do y'all know there's a lot of conversations that kind of go on in my head when I'm writing and the ancestors be whispering? So there are times where I have to be like, everybody, shh, and just write. I turn off the ringing phone and the pinging and the dingings. I sit my tushy meat in a seat and I tell Melikia, we fit to sit right here. And we're going to write to this point. Now, yeah, I am a Jim Quick fan and I love the Pomodoro method. Whether you're 25 minutes in work and then you take 5. You run that like 3 times a rep and then you take 30 minutes. So I am a fan of that. And I do it here loosely to that time frame because sometimes I'll write an hour or maybe 2, depends on how the flow is. If I'm in flow, it's a wrap. But I do make sure I stop. I get my water or my teas, eat a little something, and I can hop back in that chair and I can write. Now, mind you, I am seasoned. I can write for 5 and 7 hours straight. But that's because I'm a seasoned writer. For my newbies, I don't expect you to do that. And in order to be successful at writing a 3-day book, I'm going to encourage you to follow that method. 25 minutes, set your timer, set a timer, set a timer, set a timer. Ooh, I'm gonna work straight through for 25 minutes. This way you can shut up all those other distractions. I gotta be here, I gotta do this. Well, time block. Time block the times that you're gonna go do that thing. Well, I'm gonna go to the bathroom about this time. I'm gonna do laundry about this time. I gotta pick up the kids here and I have to have dinner ready for that. And then I've got maybe 30, 40 minutes. I've got 2 hours once everybody goes to bed, or I wake up early, because you can sacrifice some sleep for this. Like if it matters to you, you will get it done. You will get it done. And this is the how to get it done. All right. So 2 to 3 hour writing sessions per day. Get it? 2 to 3 hours. This 2 to 3 hours a day. Commit. Okay, great. And then, like I said, you want to schedule those the recharges. If you find your brain wandering off to turtle land, don't take your writing off to turtle land with your mind. Stay focused. That's why you have them goals. Okay? Their purpose is in the water. Stay focused. Remind yourself. If you need to write it down on a sticky note and stick it to the back of your computer where it hangs off the side, you can see the color and be like, oh yeah, I know what that is. I'm reminded. I have a visual reminder to stay focused and keep working. If I need to stick it up on the pin it on the board or put it on the whiteboard, all right, I got it in my phone, and I use my timer sometimes. I will literally just whip out the timer and let it go. All right, when the timer says stop, I get my tail up and I go do what I'm supposed to be doing. So that is it is a marker of discipline, and I encourage you to be disciplined. Okay, great. So time block set. You want to prepare your environment. Like I mentioned earlier, I turn my phone off. I'll hit that focus, D&D, straight up, do not disturb me. I'm not answering. It's a writing day. And I generally have particular writing days. So the folks in my immediate life tend to know when I'm writing, because I'll let them know, hey, I'm writing. So I'm on the unavailable list because I've got something to do, especially if it's a spirit impressed write. Like spirit is like sovereign divine, and the word's God. This message needs to get out. Guess what I'm fit to do? Sit down and write it. All right. So prepare your environment. Eliminate the distractions. This is not a video game. Don't go eliminating, but you know what I'm saying. Remove the distractions as best you can, please, and thank you. And you'll thank yourself once you've done it. Also, we talked about getting your research done earlier. I'm going to reiterate. That is a distraction that can become a distraction. Oh, I need more information, so I'm not going to do this. Oh, I need more time. Or I need more. Y'all, them are excuses. Those are excuses and distractions, and the P word, procrastinations. Don't fall for those, because those are how many people never finished it in the first freaking place. That's how they got stuck. And the book is still not done. And even the books that are done are not moved through the various stages of publishing or marketing, and it's not out to the world yet. Stop being selfish with you. If you have a message and a purpose and a passion to share, please do. All right. And that was a gold key. Just so we clear that golden keys. Them distractions, y'all. Beware and be ready. All right. All right, so that's day one. Like if you move through that, you could rock that boat in day one. Everything I've just shared, you can get that done in day one. And you can also have some writing time in that day one. All right, 2-3 hours. Make sure you have your word count goal, because then that's going to teach you how to divide how many words you need to do per day to hit that word count by day 3's close. Okay, so you get to do your own math. 25,000 words, 30,000 words, he's enough for a 3-day rate. Okay, pumpkin? All right. You know what? 8 to 10,000 even for my beginners. Okay, so consider that. You want to follow your outline, and when you are writing, you do not want to do the editing. You do not want to do the research. You do not want to do the phone calls. You do not want to do, oh, let me ask my mama about that right quick. None of that. Do not participate in any of that, because you are in day 2 by now and you got writing to do. All right. Stay focused and write. Don't overthink this. It doesn't have to be hard, because it's not hard. The only way it becomes hard is if you make it hard. That's the only time it's going to become hard, is if you start telling yourself it's hard, then guess what? Magically, you're going to get what you asked for. It's going to be hard. But if you do not waste your energy and your mind power in placing that restriction of hard on your work, it won't be hard. Not at all. It'll be fun. Okay? Put that on it. It's going to be fun. It's going to be passion filled. I'm going to feel great when it's done. All right, let's see. You want to focus on completing the chapters, not being perfect. Okay, you want to be complete, not perfect. And again, one thing that is truly the grace pen for me, like when I started writing, one of my wasn't my first, but one of my later mentors, which I still really appreciate, the joke of SFDs. And I'm gonna say it, y'all, shitty first drafts. That's okay. And I have another where I call it the shiny first draft. So it's going to be shiny or shitty, and that's okay, because it's your first draft. You want to get the right done. And I meant WRITE, not RIGHT. Okay. So you want to get your writing done. Get it done. Let's see. Use your timer. Oh, and I did put in here too. Just, I'd be on rewinds. I call it the Jim Quick technique. I know it's Pomodoro, but I don't care, because I like Jim Quick a whole lot. And when he teaches it, it just sounds so smooth and it's so reasonable. So we're going to point to him. 25 minutes, right? Take a 5-minute break. And I mean discipline about this. 25-minute, right? 5-minute break. And I have more discipline on my break time. Okay. If I can write straight through them and flow, I do keep on going. You don't have to. Especially for the beginners, I encourage you to do your 25 minutes, let that alarm go off, take 5 minutes, get some water, get some fresh air, eat, okay, things like that. And then when that 5-minute alarm is up, put your meat back in that seat, drop them butt cheeks, sit on down and get to work. Okay, stay motivated. Listen, I believe in self-motivation. If you feel like you have to go outside of you to get some motivation, you don't miss the mark. There's something deeply wrong. And if you're offended, that is to offend you. Trust it, because you must build your own cheering section inside you. You must build your own resolve. You must be able to push your ball forward. And once you gain momentum, run alongside it. Okay, then run in front of it so it doesn't run you over because you hauling. All right. So build it if it doesn't exist. Stir it up in you if it doesn't exist and you can't find it, because I dare say it does exist. Maybe you've just covered it over. Maybe it's so buried in the likeness of whatever is around you, distracting you or causing you stress. Remove that stress, remove those distractions, and hunt, seek, find it, because it's in there. Your motivation is within you. Everything you need is within you. You really don't need anything external. It's wonderful that we have the resource of humans, of one another, to help us get things done. But that's the way we are. We are resources. Your source is in you. All right. And then sometimes fires get low. Maybe fires go out. So come on, get close to the fire and get relit. All right. Where we at? So we've got, oh yeah, I already covered that part. Write it. Just write it. Don't stop to edit. Don't stop to research. And if you find that there's a space where you want to add something or you need to verify something, cool. Go ahead and put a pin in it. What I use is a line, like I'll write myself a note right there in the document, and then I'll highlight the background in a whole different color. So I know back what color to go back to, right? I know to go back and just research this or verify this or rethink it. Because sometimes I just like, this is my perspective and my perspective only. I'm not even able to offer a different perspective yet. So I need to go rethink this. Let me look at it and see, is this what it absolutely was, or is this just the way I saw it? All right. So give yourself that grace. It's a very gracious process. Be patient with you, be gracious with you, and be disciplined at the same time. You don't have to trade one for the other. It doesn't mean that you have to be rude or impatient or drivey or you ain't gotta do all that. You can be patient with yourself, and you can still deny the excuses and distractions and procrastination while being patient and motivated and disciplined. It works. All right. Where we at? So the polishing and the completing. So once you've written imperfectly, then you can go back. If within that 3 days you've gotten all your writing down and you want to now go back and polish, I want to clean it up a little bit. I need it a little bit shiny. Well, this thought was almost there, but it wasn't complete. Oh, I remember something else. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to write it too. Okay. Knock yourself out. Get that part. You use the morning to kind of work through that first draft. Once it's done, you want to focus on anything that's kind of not clear, anything that leaves a comprehension gap, and then anything that you read and it's like, this is kind of weak. I don't feel really strong about this. It's not strong writing. Maybe the words just ain't wording, and you want to have better. Okay, so take time and do that. Do a quick revision. You can do that. Do a quick revision. If you read a couple of paragraphs, I can scrap this. I'm not feeling it. Or maybe I put something here that I really don't want everybody to know. Scratch it. Do your quick revisions. You got the magic tools of like Word docs that'll help you grammatically find things that you've misspelled or sentences that are just not properly structured, or maybe even double words or misspellings. Do your checks. Simple stuff. Do those checks. Get rid of those blue and red lines and give your eyes peace. You want to fix anything that's like ridiculous or the inconsistencies. So if you begin with this character, please complete that character. Don't change the character's name mid-ride and have everybody wondering like, who is this? If the character has a nickname that you prefer to go with, well, you establish that at the very beginning. So do a good job. And how does that good job begin? Organize it here. All right, then organize it on paper. I love the pen and paper. And then also the clickety. And the clickety could be your iPad, your PC, your MacBook, however you write in your book. All right. Feedback. I love it. I have a few people that I go, hey, listen, this is what I just wrote. I would like for you to look it over. And I don't overwhelm them with the entire book. Some of them, a couple of them, they get the whole business. And I'm blessed enough to have them go through the entire work and be like, listen, I understood this fully. Maybe this is right here, or I have a question left, or this is amazing. Okay, so I welcome and receive all feedback. And it ain't personal. All right. For those of us who are sensitive about our stuff, be strong enough to take feedback. If it's not making sense, it's not making sense. Maybe it only makes sense in your head. Be mindful of that. Some things really only make sense to us because we have our own language. We have our own way of being, and everybody ain't getting it. And that's okay, but you want them to get it, right? So then what are you willing to do to help the reader understand where you're coming from? What does it take? It may take that feedback and a conversation with that reader, and you are targeting folks who would be a part of your audience. Were you selling this book? You want to have a reader that fits into that category who can speak back to you and say, this really hit the spot. I had one feedback come back from something from my sisters. And what I was told was, this is going to be a game changer. That is awesome feedback. And I wasn't expecting that at all. So I was like, okay. And it's literally a heart right. Something that was a message impressed upon me to share. And I wrote it for the sisters. And shared my heart and my hope and tools and skills for them to use to put down the cape in 30 days. So sure enough, I'm happy with that feedback, and I'm still making sure it's fully what I need it to be before it's released. So yeah, these are I've literally just run you through. Yes, it's a process. Yes, it can be done in a matter of 3 days. For those who are not pressed for time and don't care to have the challenge of 3 days, all of the things that I shared, they still apply. Having your word count, once again, you're going to be able to, once you've set the goal for your word count, how many words do you want? For my folks who want 10,000, 8,000, 25,000, 30,000, 80,000 words. All right. How many days do you want to get it done in? Divide the number, and you'll get that number. You'll get the number of days. Okay. How many days I want to work on this? How many words do I want to have in it? Do your math, and that will give you a guide. Now, for those who, I tend to speak to overachievers. It's just that way. To you, I would say be kind to yourself and be patient with your outcomes. And do understand it's your SFD. And you do have time to revise. You do have time to have it edited and cleaned up. I do development as well. So if you want to work with an editor or a developer at the same time to develop your work and to help or even walk you as you go, do that. Do that. I love help. One of my most fun clients recently, a lot of hand holding, but I'm okay with that as long as you're working. As long as you're passionate about it and you love what you're sharing and you're working, I'm gonna hold your hand. And I bet you money you can find someone out there who's gonna do that for you. If you want to work with me, you're welcome to do that too. Okay. And same time, you might have people in your own circle who can hold your hand and journey with you along your process and get it done, because I really, really believe there's so many beautiful stories that have yet to be told. And for contrast, there's a beautiful woman who was set to come be a part of my show on Friday, the poetry show. She is a seasoned poet and artist and just all around queen, Mama Oladeji, right? The day before she was to come feature with us, I believe she had a stroke. I think it was the day before. If it wasn't the day before, it was a couple of days before. But it was like right there. And I am so excited to have her, right? And then that happens. And what came to mind was she doesn't have books. She's got over 1,000 pieces of poetry that she's written, but they're not in a book. What if she had left this earth without leaving us that gold? She's done interviews and even shared a picture with her interviewing with Smokey Robinson. What if she hadn't left those stories for us? So now I'm about to be on her tail a little bit there, harassing my elder, to leave that for us to enjoy and to know, because this is our history. This is our history, and she is living history, as are you. You are living history. So don't make the mistake of leaving Earth without leaving a love note for those who come behind, leaving your skill set or tools and tips. I've done that. I've done that with this podcast, SXP MetaMorphosis 365, every Tuesday, 8 p.m., whether I'm in person or it's recorded. I've done that with masterminds throughout the week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, consistently for 4 years. I've done that with Sanctuary Experience, Master Key Mindset is that space. And then I've done that also with Partners in Rhyme Lyrical Vibes with my co-founder, Scott Harrell. So for years now, we have consistently made history. And then I've done that with the 6 books that I've written, penned, done. Okay. And then even the mini books and the fun things and the coupons and the nonfiction and the fiction. Like I write, and I write incessantly. And that is on top of everything else that I'm doing, because I understand how important it is to get these stories in the water, especially in a time where even today in Florida, the governor, whose name I'm not going to even waste my energy speaking, saw fit to have the school throw all these books that had any Black history in them into this bin type of thingy so they could burn them. We burning books in 2024, y'all. Books of Black authors telling Black history and Black stories. That's what's happening today, years old. So it is for us to take it seriously and write down these necessary truths and happenings so that our history is preserved, because clearly there are some who would have us disappear without a trace. Don't let it be so. Handle your business. If you said to yourself, I want to write a book, it is time to write your book. I charge you with that. If you said that it's time to write your book and you've told yourself you're going to do it for years and ain't got it done, I'm going to encourage you to step into integrity and get it done. If you need help, I am right here. You can reach me. If you'd like to work directly with me for this process, maybe you're a first-time writer and you're intimidated by the process. You kind of want to, but you're scared. Okay, I'm pretty good at loving people back to life. I'm sure I can help you. Text. Let's see. We'll keep it simple. Book 2025, book 2025. You can text that to 321-443-2495. Book 2025. All right. And I just thought about, yeah, that's fine. And then you'll get the response message and you'll say what it is that you like to do, because I do offer other services. I am a coach, life coach, and a rituals coach. I believe in clearing and transmuting all that trauma and that ick up out of your mind, body, spirit, soul, so that you can move forward freaking happy. It's very important to me. Yeah, come play with me. It's that time. All right. So I think we've talked about everything almost. I did mention that about doing your proofreads and your grammar checks. Oh, the typos, all those villains. This is very important. So I added this here. Back to the soapbox. Commit. There's a question I like folks to ask themselves. Am I passionate in my writing? Do I care about this? Because if you care about it, then you're going to be able to communicate that care to the listener, to the reader. Do I care about it? Am I passionate in my writing? Because if you are bored in your writing, chances are you're going to bore the reader. Don't do that. Settle it within yourself. Messages. Now, when it comes to people who are writing books that are giving messages tend to flow. When they come up, they tend to flow right out. Let them. If you have something come up and your spirit is just like right there and it's bubbled and boom, your mind is like, oh yeah, and you got the full picture and it's telling you, and it's talking to you, and you feel like you are just being guided and led. Write it down. Let that message flow all the way out. If it is not everything that you want to include in that book, there's this mystical, magical feature, cut and paste. You can put it somewhere other. Do not stop your writing to go open another document or grab another paper. Be still. Stay focused. Right. Let the messages flow. Be joyful and keeping your word to yourself. Keep your joy and your happiness in front of you. Like seriously, especially for those who are writing strong things. My book, The Ladder, How to Escape the Hells of Domestic Violence and Trauma. That was not the topic is not like a happy-go-lucky topic. It just really isn't. It's a necessary topic. In writing that book, I could hold my joy and peace in place because I understood the purpose and the goal, which is why I mentioned that at the beginning. Please know your purpose and your goal. I knew the purpose of that book. I knew the goal of that book. It literally is set in place to help women and men who walked away from domestic violence and now are left with the task of rebuilding their minds and lives. All right. I held my joy and my happiness in place because I'm putting that work in the water, helpful tools, giving a whole ladder with the rungs of how to climb out of that hell. So what is your focus? What is your purpose in writing? Like I said, if you want help, you can reach. Oh yeah, here we go. I love me. I give me notes so I can stay focused. So this is what you're texting me. If your skill level is not where you feel you can get this done on your own, not a problem. There's no judgment. There's no embarrassment. It just is. Okay. And you want to discover what type of book is best for you to write. You still need some direction and some guidance. Okay, fine. There's not an issue. You want to connect with me, and this is what you text me. You text 2025 author, 2025 author to 321-443-2495. Now, I literally just took you through 3 days of efforts. If you follow those efforts, what does that mean? You're probably gonna have to hit replay and go back through it and get all those guides out. And that's fine too. Get it. You just got it for the free.com. Did you know I charge for this? Oh yes, darling, I charge for this. So normally when I do my discovery strategies, it's $1,500. That's out the gate. We sit for 2.5 hours and we work through a number of things. Now, discovery strategy, it covers many areas of interest. Writing a book is one of them. So that is a charge. If you'd like to sit with me and have me walk you through that process of creating your outline, getting your thoughts together, helping you get organized, getting that schedule together, you get it done. Yep, I can do that for you. Now, if you'd like to go steps further, you want to not only have me help you with that beginning process, you want to hold my hand as we walk through the journey of getting your book completed. Yep, price goes up. Need the editor, price goes up. Okay, so, or even development. These are things that I can do. And yes, I do charge. And I'm paid well because I do good work. All right. And I love my people and they love me back. So I'm really, really grateful for that whole part. Like that makes my heart smile. All right. So yeah, I think I've shared with you most of everything that I intended to share. I do have to share a couple of other brandy things. And here's one of them. You can definitely hover over that QR code to register at Blast. I wanted to make sure I offered you guys that. BLASTMUSIC247.com. All right, you guys been hanging out here. If you haven't followed Blast, please do. If you haven't followed Melikia K Courtney on YouTube, do that too. Stalk a sister a little bit. Go ahead. There's so much growth in here that I have given for the free, and I am a coach. My annual coaching, $30K. Half a year, $15K. So this you got for the free.com. Ain't nobody play with you. Take advantage. Take advantage while I'm available, while my time is available. Because yes, 2025 is coming. I'm loving the podcast. I'm enjoying giving and sharing these tools and tips and just I know what it's like. I know what it's like to have to start life over and feel like, oh my God, what happened and what do I do now? We could talk about that. Maybe we'll have a conversation about that too. I think I'll do it's been coming to me like for 2 days, and then I had a conversation earlier that kind of pressed me to really sit and share my story like out loud and then elongated. So I think we need to have a conversation. We need to talk. All right. It's a time of year, y'all. And help us help them, us being SXP. Please help for the hungry. Help. Now, what we do here is every December, we purchase Dunkin' Donut gift cards and we hand them out to the homeless. I do not handle this endeavor on my own. I work with Alice Boswell, who is Just Me magazine. She also has Just Us magazine because that's the one that comes to mind first. Okay, so she was the one who created the initiative. I think it's absolutely freaking brilliant. Why see a problem and not work to help solve it? And when it was exposed to me, I'm like, this makes sense. So for the last, I think 3 years, I've been a part of the endeavors. All right. And even in last year, I walked those Chicago streets in the cold and handed out those gift cards and some cash too. So yeah, it's no joke. If you guys understand how cold it is and to see mothers with little kids, with babies, like toddlers sitting outside in the cold, it's mind-blowing to see adults and elderly y'all out in that cold. And then also down in Tampa, now mind you, it's warmer there, but still the needs are huge. So one more time, please do consider making that donation. And you know what I didn't do? Let me push this for you just so you guys have this. Let's see. I'm pushing the mystical magical button, but it don't seem to wanna. That's why I need an adult. There we go. I'm learning. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get it. Okay, so you can check out the banner if you'd like to make a donation and help those folks who are suffering homelessness and just they need something warm to drink. We don't give them much. It's $6. All right. and it was $5, so we're moving it up to $6 because the cost of a donut and a hot cocoa, $5.49. All right, so $6 donations can help make a difference. So please consider making a difference. Okay, let's see. Boom, boom. Okay, I just want to run that a little bit and make sure you guys got that information. I'm learning where everything is, y'all. And what else do you need to know? Okay, here we go. Discovery and strategy sessions. Definitely want to be a part of that. If you know you'd like to have a wonderful 2025, but you don't know how to have it, you don't know what to put in place for yourself personally or for your business, let's have that discovery strategy conversation. And then also the recording for December's masterclass is going to be available. You want to grab that. And the last thing I'll show you for here, take a screenshot. And that's the old one. So you guys are getting a deal if you show me that. All right, darlings, I have done what I came to do, and I did it without my drink, so that was an error. But I will be getting my tea. I appreciate you. I value your time. It has been wonderful to share this with you. I look forward to all the authors who were born from this conversation. Please do let me know. Hey, I saw your podcast. I'm inspired to finish my book, to write it. Maybe write it in 3 days, maybe write it in more than 3 days, but I'm inspired. I'm encouraged. I'm ready. I stirred up my motivation. I'm going to do it. Let me know. lifeissanctuaryxp@gmail.com. Again, lifeissanctuaryxp@gmail.com. And I believe you saw it on the banner that ran at the bottom. And maybe I'll shoot it up one more time just so that you have that, because I believe it's on there. I am Santa's Helper on Instagram. Do follow me there. Melikia K. Courtney on all other medias, so connect. I do have book bundles available too. So there is much fun in the water. I've had a productive year. And if you want to get things done, ask a busy person. I'm just going to say that out loud because I get a lot done. Okay, so we are complete. Have a beautiful week. Merry, happy holidays to you. Regardless of whatever you're celebrating, I just hope that you are celebrating and adding some happy to your day. Thank you for listening. Please do like, share, and comment. And yes, this chat goes away after it's live, but go to my page. Let's have these conversations. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, so there we go. All the new. Love y'all.
BLASTMUSIC247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.